Loki has corrupted it. You must find a way to break Loki's connection to it.
Us? What are you gonna do?
I am going to have a word with my brother.
Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books, I love talking about them, I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. I love Walter Simonson, and he has had some great covers, but this is probably my favorite cover of all the Walter Simonson covers in his amazing run on Thor. Look at this as we get this armor. This armor has not been made into an action figure as of this recording, and I'm sad. I would buy this armor if it was available. My God, is this not awesome? We are continuing our run of Walter Simonson's Mighty Thor. We are looking at number 378 from 1987. When I saw this on the spinner rack, I went crazy. I was like, whoa, this thing is so friggin' cool. And I decided that I was, over anything else that was in that week, this stood out. This is my favorite of Thor's many costumes. I love this armor. I love this costume, and too bad that it didn't last very long. After Walter Simonson left, Tom DeFalco went back to his classic costume. But boy, was this not awesome while it lasted. And so during this time, Walter Simonson is drawing X Factor. So as always, Sal Buscema, or Buscema, I really don't know how to pronounce it, is the artist on the inside. Walter Simonson is drawing, and we are heading to the end of our Thor coverage. As soon as Walter Simonson bows out, I will be covering a couple of the early Tom DeFalco issues, but that'll probably be all she wrote for this era of Thor. I hope to eventually get back into Thor with some of the newer stuff that I do like what Marvel has been doing with Thor. I liked what they did with J. Michael Straczynski during his brief run. He had about 15-20 issue run on Thor. I like what Matt Fraction did on Thor. I loved what Jason Aaron did on Thor. I know that some people are like, oh, whatever, because they made Jane Foster into Thor. But guess what? He told a story, and then after everything was said and done, Odinson came back as Thor, as always has been. So, yeah, man, I could stare at this cover forever, but we've been, I've been talking for about 4 minutes here, and we haven't even gone inside. A great signature by the great Walter Simonson. And so we pick off where we left off, as the Frost Giants are going to be attacking Loki. And so we get our title, When Loki Stood Alone. Walter Simonson does the writing. Sal Buscema does the drawing. John Workman is one of the best letterers there is. Him, Tom Orzechowski, and Kevin Kline are absolute masters of lettering. Jim Shooter, this is toward the end of his run as editor-in-chief. As of this recording, Jim Shooter died a week ago of cancer. Rest in peace, Jim Shooter. He was definitely a force in comic books. And so Loki defends himself. He says, "Ungrateful wretches, is this how the gifts of Loki are repaid?" And hits each one here with the blast. And of course, he's like, "Kill him. Take the cold." And so Loki says, "Incredible. They are rampaging with the total fury of berserkers. Somehow the cold I generated to restore them to their original height affected not only their bodies, but has driven them mad as well. Evidently, my plan to assist the frost giants has gone somewhat amiss." I think it went this way, and this way, but it reads either way. "I need a moment to gather my wits, and the great door reinforced by a spell of binding shall hold them for now." And so we see Thor here. I do have a playlist, by the way. Feel free to check that out. I started with Thor 337, which is Walter Simonson's very first issue, featuring Beta Ray Bill. And so I will have, by the time all is said and done, the entire Walter Simonson Thor run. And so Loki says, "A moment, 'tis my hated stepbrother Thor, still unconscious since I brought him here." And so we're going to get a bit of a flashback. So Thor has been cursed by Hela. His bones are brittle, but he cannot die. And so, of course, he is extremely hurt. And Loki says, "How delightfully ironic." Let the giants play with a new toy while Loki arranges their total defeat for this betrayal. Thor will prove useful to me at last. And so he sends him out, and you can see he goes from here, and Buscema, who is still alive, by the way, he's showing us he goes out. So, real quick, this is the version of Loki that I like. Evil, scheming. This freaking thing with the show. What? Thor is not a good guy. Not Thor. Loki's not a good guy. For the love of God. Quit it. Quit it, quit it, quit it. Ugh. And people wonder why no one's watching the shows or the movies. Well, because they're not the comic book characters. So, whatever. Alright. And so Thor has shown up here. And they're like, the Thunderer, slayer of giants and their kin, without his terrible hammer. And you can see Loki yelling across here, "A present, Grundorth, for you and your friends. He swore to begin the complete destruction of all frost giants when he awoke. And now, while those lack waste time futilely trying to slay the thunder god, I shall return to my laboratory, prepare magics that will..." And all of a sudden he goes, "By the well of weird." And so he sees Iceman here. Remember, he kidnapped him in the previous issue. And Loki says, "The atmosphere within the room is chilled, nearly beyond endurance." And this just, the cartooning is just beautiful here. "The machineries I used to extract the total power of the Iceman have been frozen solid, and more ice is forming every moment Robert Drake seeks to overload the cold enhancers that hold him captive. No wonder the giants have been driven half mad by desire. Mortal, seize this effort at once. Do you hear? You will destroy you will destroy the labor of years," yells Loki. And Iceman says, "Oh, can't hear you, creep. I've got ice in my ears." And so Loki blasts him. "Stop it, you fool. The unbelievable cold you're generating will only serve to summon the frost giants like a beacon." And Iceman says, "Too late." And Loki yells, "No." And he says, "I'm giving it everything I've got." And you see this screen here. And so, look at this. "Wake him up, then kill him. Nah, crush the accursed son of Odin now." And then all of a sudden they feel the cold. Behind us, the cold It's filling the castle. And so we grow again. More, I must have more. And in their as stuff is going, you can see they drop Thor here. There was never such a bone-chilling winter as this. And this guy goes, "It's coming from the castle's depths. Forget Thor. The cold is ours for the taking." What? You could have just killed him while you, oh well, crushed him. He can't die. And when we possess its source, we will be masters of all who live. As they break through the door, "Follow me, giants of storm and fury. This is the hallway. The entire hall. Oh, sorry. This is the way. The entire hallway is frozen solid." And Loki's here. "Take one step further at your peril, Grundroth. This is the house of Loki, and he bids you halt." And he says, "I said, stand where you are. I have taken your measures now, and the consequences of disobedience will be fatal." And he says, "Watch out, a fireball," as Loki throws one at them. "The heat intolerable," as it kind of, you see it here moving through. And the frost giants, some of them are melting here. "The hallway, smash the sides of the hallway. Hurry before we perish." And Loki's like, "The flying debris has destroyed the fireball, as the giants have destroyed my footing. I must levitate beyond their grasps, or all is lost." And you can see here that they tried to get him with this axe, is, I would say, an axe maybe. So, and workman's lettering, beautiful. Loki is down. Now, brothers, now. Take him in the deadly Arctic. Cold shall be ours. And you can see Thor is waking up, complaining about the pain that he's in. And he says here, the leg is in pain. And, oh yeah, his leg is broken. So, and sees a frost giant, and he recognizes Loki's castle. And so here they have Loki, and looks like they're gonna kill him here. Look at that. This is awesome. And this is, Thor says, "Woe to Thor that he have witnessed such a sight. Loki's bravery before impossible odds reveals Thor's shames in the fullness of its disgrace. Woe to the god of thunder should ever have thought to flee such as foes, Grendel and the absorbing man." And those are in the previous issues. "Mayhap Loki does not bear the curse of Hela. 'Tis no matter. Loki is but the son of giants. Thor is the son of gods." So Thor is kind of heading away here. And now we are in Asgard, the actual city. So Asgard is both a realm and a city. And so in the city of Asgard then stands, is where the castle. And during this time, Balder the Brave is the king of the Asgardians, as Odin is in Odin's sleep. Well, apparently dead, but it'll be discovered later that he is in Odin's sleep here. And so Balder asks this guy here, Ulrich, if the stars foretell a danger for the realm. And he says, "Never more dangerous." And he goes, "I can't say what the peril will be," but and then all of a sudden you can see him sweat here, and they go, "What ails you?" asks Balder, and he says, "Dizziness, my limbs tremble, I can scarcely stand." And so he says, "Revered one, let Balder's strength become thine own." And so at the same time he falls, remembering the previous issue, the Enchantress also fell. And so he's coming in here. And so this is something that's affecting everybody here, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh no, I'm not feeling well either." And all of a sudden Heimdall falls, and now Baldur's like, "Oh crap, I don't feel good either." And he goes, "Thor, where are you, Thor?" And so he yells out for Thor. So Thor's not coming, at least not yet here. So here they are. They're about to chop Loki up, but suddenly the roof caves in here, and you can see here that it's not going good for the giants here. And Thor comes here, and you can see him here grab Loki here. And Thor says this guy protected Loki from the falling debris. He says, "Come, trickster, though you and I have fought and hated in the past, you shall not die alone, unmourned this day." Oh, Thor. So he picks up Loki like a sack of potatoes here. And Thor goes, "I can barely stand upright without fainting, but I shall stay the course, Loki. Who would have thought, after all these centuries, the fosterlings of the giants should have taught the gods a lesson in courage? Though well I know that if you brought me hence, 'twas for no good purpose, still you must have saved me from the hands of the dark elves. Mayhap this time we shall settle all scores between us. Here or where, ere this day is done." I don't know what that's supposed to mean. "My breath congeals almost before it leaves my lungs." And so he sees all this cold here as he enters, all this ice here. And we see Iceman here. And he recognizes that he's wearing X Factor uniform. And of course he met X Factor, or at least Angel and Cyclops, during the 373 and 374. He recognizes that. And I have, like I mentioned, I have a playlist. I'm also covering the Mutant Massacre saga, and I have an X-Men playlist and a X Factor playlist. So check those out. And so Iceman introduces himself, and he says, "Scott told me what you did for Warren in the tunnels." And so Thor asks how he got there, and then we get a recap. So I've covered it, so we are going here. So someone's knocking on the door, and Thor says, "The door will not hold against their furious onslaught. A pity, Loki, that you are not awake to greet our guests." "No matter, the boy has told me enough. I recognize from his description the great machine that once brought the absorbing man to Earth so long ago. And I see it here. Thor has not forgotten that were it not for you, there should have been no victory over Surtur in the final encounter. And today, win or lose, that debt shall be paid. You have taught the Thunder God a lesson in courage. Mayhap he can teach you one of honor." And that was in Thor 353, which I have covered and have in the playlist here. And so Thor looks through the machine here. He says, "The magic of the devices even pierces the veils of storm that lies between here and Midgard, annihilating the distance until I can locate exactly what I wish to find." And so he is looking at that steel mill that he was working on, and he sees the armor, and Thor aims the thing and grabs the armor. And so Thor hits the hammer against the ground. You can see this here. "The armor will arrive any moment, and I must be ready. Only fires wrought by my enchanted hammer, Mjolnir, can create the heat necessary to emblazon the sacred runes of Odin upon the metal, and thereby finish the task I began on Earth. My limbs ache with the effort, but the heat is still insufficient. Faster still, I must whirl Mjolnir till my very bones do grind in their sockets." And so he continues and continues here. And look at this. Strike Now, beautiful. When Sal Buscema first started on Thor, I wasn't exactly thrilled when I was young. But as I get older, I have very much appreciated Sal Buscema. And he had a very long run on Spectacular Spider-Man. During the McFarlane and the Larson and Bagley, while Amazing Spider-Man went through a different artist, Sal Buscema just kept humming around on the Spectacular Spider-Man here. And so you see the other Asgardians, they are also like, I don't feel good. And so whatever's happening is happening to all of them here. And you can see Sif collides and everybody, even Hildy. But remember, these two boys are human. So even as he picks Sif up here, Hogum is like, oh, she weighs a ton. And partly is because he's weakened himself. And they're trying to take Hildy with them here. So they eventually get home, and you can see that they're going to see something, and they're shocked as everyone is down. And even poor Volstagg, he's like leaning against the chair, and then he falls, and then everyone now, and the two human kids are like, what? So we've got a pretty much the last story, or the last subplot here that Simonson is going to put in here. So, all right, so the Frost Giants come through. They see Iceman and they see Loki, and they're like, "Where is the source of the cold?" And he's like, "It's coming from him." And so suddenly, you can see here we're not quite revealing the armor yet here, and then boom. So Buscema's not as spectacular as Simonson, but still pretty cool. I'm telling you, they should make this into a freaking action figure. I will definitely get it here. And so Thor in his amazing armor. I don't even know what this armor is called, if there's a particular but every time I go to Google and do Thor armor, I get like some of the newer ones, but this one here, oh my gosh. And so he throws the hammer, hits this guy, pisses this guy off, and Thor is now going to go attack them here. So he's protected from broken bones through them. But here's the thing: when you break your leg, you still, the muscles. I mean, I don't know. Regardless, it's comic books here. So they toss him here. He crashes through, hurts him a little bit, but he's gonna axe him, but he stops it with Mjolnir here. He says, I don't wear an ordinary armor. So Thor is now let us end this charade. As you destroys Loki's footing, so I destroy yours. And we get I don't know how you would say this. Siash. And so you get the rumble. I love the lettering from Workman. And Simon says that he would put that in the script. He would put like Brumble, like, and so, look at that. Oh, this lettering is beautiful. And so, you see the Frost Giants, and he's like, "Get out, you fools! We're no match for him now." And so they all run away here. And Thor says, "My foes have fled the field of battle. Thor is victorious as ever. Such is thy lesson, brother. See how easily honor follows victory. Then why do I taste the wormwood of despair? Armor is no substitute for a fighting heart." And Thor's heart misgives him that before all is said and done, it will not be Thor's armor that will be tested by fate, but his very heart and soul. And so we get to the final page here, and this guy's like, Thor beat us again, and armor restored his fighting spirit, and no one can go against him. It's hopeless. And this guy says, "Never, I swear I shall never rest till Thor's bones are ground to dust." And he's like, "You said that before." And he says, "I'm not thinking of a giant, but rather of the offspring of one. Loki's child, Jormungand." And they go, "The Midgard serpent, it's too dangerous. The serpent's mad." And he's like, "Shut up. No one mocks the sons of Ymir. In the end of the 9 worlds will be ours to plunder. And Thor's bones will be dust." And so, next, a discourse of heroes and villains, featuring the glorious return of Fin Fang Foom. So, yep, there we are. The Mighty Thor, 378, Walter Simonson and Sal Buscema. Wrapping up here, we are just a couple of issues, probably about 8 issues until we are done with Walter Simonson's amazing run. And boy, is it good. So, hope you like this. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day. Goodbye.